back here, episode 3 of the Coach McNeill Show. How you doing today, Coach?
Doing good, Pat. Always great to be able to chat with Pirate Nation.
There we go. All right. Well, unfortunately, we're going to start on a bit of a dour note.
Yeah.
Tough week last week on the wrong side of 2 tough road games. What are some things maybe right now going on with the team that you want to see changed and improved as the season goes this last month?
Yeah, well, we gotta, we gotta get back as a coaching staff. We gotta get back to really emphasizing the little things, and that starts in practice. And we did that some before we took off to Tulane. Just really focusing on closeouts. Really breaking down our defense again. Really breaking down our offense, getting up more shots. We got to be able to hit more shots, bottom line. This generation, they're, as much as you stress defense and getting stops, and, they're all about scoring the ball. And if we're not hitting shots, we allow that to affect the defensive end of the floor, as much as we stress it. So, we got to get some more consistent scores and just really get back to doing the little things if we want to see make a change in February, which in the past, February has been pretty good to us.
That's what I was going to ask. Past couple of years, you finished the season strong. Is there something you're telling the team where, because it could be easy to just hang your head.
Yeah.
Is there something you tell them to engineer, maybe some turnaround, some things like that?
I always harp on, you want to be playing your best basketball in February, getting ready to go into tournament play and preparing yourself for tournament play. And, obviously you don't want to end the season the way you started it, so maybe that's motivation that, we still, have some games left, and, we still want to be playing our best basketball in February and really get some momentum going into the conference tournament.
And some, a bright spot that could help down the stretch is the recent play of Deja Green. She scored double figures the past 2 games, I think 3 of the last 4. Is something changed for her in terms of her role, or is it just the simple fact of, she's a good shooter. She scored 1,200 points in college career, just seeing shots go in?
Deja's role for us has always been to shoot the ball. From when she first came in, really talked about her about being a good leader and, being a scorer for us. I looked at her as being probably one of the 4 kids that I thought could score double figures for her. I think a lot of it's just mentally for Deja. She lives in the gym. She's always in the gym. She's always working on her game. And sometimes when kids put that much work in and don't see instant success, it kind of dampers things a little bit. It gets them, frustrated. But she's hung in there, stayed in the gym, and I think, it's finally starting to pay off. And I think mentally she's just going out there and not thinking about that next shot. If she misses one, it's just like, okay, I'm going to shoot the other one. Where in the past, I've kind of seen her hesitate a little bit. If she misses one, she'll give up that shot and try to do something else. Where now it's at the point where, I missed it, move on. If I get open again, I'm going to knock it down.
And one of the stats, that jumped out to me is you guys are undefeated when you break that 60-point barrier. And you've talked a lot about this year about kind of getting those multiple scores. What are some things maybe you guys are working on right now to jumpstart that offense and get people in double figures?
Yeah, well, a lot for us is being able to turn people over and get out in transition. Obviously, against Tulane, we didn't do that. I think it may be a career low for me on turnovers. I think we only turned them over 10 times. A lot of that was due to the fact that we didn't press a lot because we were low in numbers. So that hurts us, not being able to press and turn people over and get out in transition. We want at least 20 to 25 points off of turnovers. And then if we can sit down and get another 40 points in the half court, that would be great for us, because then that puts us over to 60 points. But I just think it's, outside guards got to hit some shots. They got to stay confident, stay ready. I think that'll open up the inside for us to where we can get the ball inside, because right now the paint is so clogged because people are just clogging up the paint on us and we can't get it inside. We can't turn the corner. So, we just got to keep working, got to spend some extra time outside of practice working on our shots. There's only so much shooting you can do in practice because there's so much other things you have to do. But, we got to get back committed to spending time, outside of practice working on our game.
And you mentioned the turnovers, and 3rd year in a row, you're leading the league in steals. A little different this year, the past couple of years, you had LaShawn the Monk, you had Dom Clater, who were probably 1 and 2 most of the year in terms of steals. This year, Alexia Rose leads the team, but only 6th in the conference. Yeah. Is there a difference where, teams come in and they say, hey, I gotta watch out for Monk, keep the ball away from her, versus now it feels like any of our players, in a sense, could grab a steal and go,
I think it's a little bit of both. I think, now in our 3rd year, people are starting to understand what we do, and they're starting to prepare for it a little bit better. I think the first couple of years it kind of caught people, off guard, kind of caught them by surprise. Now you hear, any commentator I talk to prepping for the game is talking about, the other team is preparing for our press. They're putting 7 or 8 people out on the floor, preparing and trying to take care of the ball. So, I'll take it either way. As long as we're leading the league, I'll take it any way. I'll take the top 2, or I'll take, having multiple kids with steals. It doesn't matter to me, whatever way we can get it.
Gotcha. And so looking ahead, this week you're gonna have 2 pair of rematches. You got SMU and Temple. Is there a difference in terms of prep for a team you've seen the first time versus the first time getting them, not having seen them at all?
Yeah, it definitely is. The second time around, you kind of, you got your feet wet, what to expect a little bit. You really focus on your last game and things that you didn't do well, things that you did do well, some things you might want to tweak, against, just think about the SMU game. We missed so many darn layups. Maybe the first time in my career that we missed more shots than my opponent took.
Wow.
Crazy stat, right?
Yeah.
We missed more shots than SMU took. So the defense was working. We turned them over 27 times. We just, the rim was just closed. It just had a lid on it, So obviously continuing to work on our press. We want to continue to turn them over, but now we got to convert, those turnovers into points.
Yeah, and that SMU game was on the road the first time. It's going to be home. Then you'll go to Temple, but then you'll be back here for 2 next week. Is this you've only played 3 home games in conference? Is this opportunity to get games, stack them at Minji's? Is that an opportunity to get some momentum going?
Definitely is. Love playing at home. You don't have to worry about the travel, getting on planes, getting on buses. You're at home, you get to sleep in your own bed. A little bit more of a routine. So definitely, hoping that, February can be the month for us.
There you go. And can you maybe talk a little bit about, some updates on the health of the team, how everybody's looking right now?
Yeah, so, we've had some people out in concussion protocol. Danae McNeill is, moving in the right direction with her injury. So maybe that'll be another reason why, February can be a good month for us, because we can have everybody out on the floor, and everybody back healthy. Having Sania out the last 2 games has been tough. Because she helps us so much defensively and that energy she brings. And then obviously Danae, a potential double-figure scorer for us, we're missing that as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned Sania Johnson. Early before the season, you announced the 3 co-captains. Deja Green and Tyler Bennett were 2, and makes sense, 5th-year seniors, all that experience. Then the third one was Sania Johnson, who's only a sophomore. Can you talk a little bit about what went into that decision, how she was named co-captain?
Yes, and is just, she's very mature, for her years. You sit and you talk to her, you would never guess that she's a sophomore. She just takes pride in everything she does, from academically, as almost, straight A student. And then on the court, she's not a vocal leader. She's more of a leader by example. And when she says something, she's not just saying it to say it, it means something. And I think her teammates really respect her. They see her work ethic, on the court and off the court, and, has truly bought into, what we represent here at ECU. So, I felt, really good about Deja and TB having that college experience and being in their 5th year. But you also want to look at it, once they graduate, who's kind of going to take that role over, So as a staff, we felt like Sania was the perfect person for that, being young and be able to be in the program for a couple more years and really develop and learn, some true leadership characteristics.
Can you maybe talk a little bit about some of those younger players, Lele Cox, Isis Adams, Alexia Rose, Morgan Mosley, all sophomores or below, and even the sophomores now still 3 years after this year because of last year with COVID. Can you talk a little bit about what their development has been like this year? Yeah,
so the freshmen are freshmen. I think it's a huge adjustment for freshmen coming into college. Kind of living back on what I did as a freshman or what I did in high school and stuff, and not understanding that pretty much every kid on every roster has the same accolades that you do, and they did the same thing. So I think that's an adjustment, and the work ethic is an adjustment, to how much they have to put into this. And then by your sophomore year, you get it. And I think that's what you see in Morgan and Tay. They finally realize, and Sania, wow, like I can now figure out how to put school together with basketball and all the extra things that go into it, and it's like a light finally comes on and they continue to go. So it'll be fun to watch the freshmen's progress over the next year and see how they come back next year, really understanding what it really takes to be a true student athlete.
Yeah, and they'll be here, and next year they'll be joined by 3 future Pirates, which includes Amaya Joyner, Jayla Herp, and they were just named McDonald's All-American nominees, which is quite the honor. So what's the process like in the season, the 2 of them and Bobby Smith, who will be here next year, keeping in touch with them, following them in high school, and what you want them to work on for when they get here next year?
Yeah, so I think each kid is different. Maya, she comes to almost every home game possible that she can. Very supportive. Every time you see her, she's got on her ECU shirt. She's super excited. I think if she could forego her senior year and be here right now, she would, which I wish she could as well. And then Jayla, switching schools and really developing some leadership responsibilities at her new school was her and another young lady that kind of leading the way. So just developing that leadership so that she can come here and, I always say as a freshman, like, don't feel like you're a freshman. Like, if you can go out and you can beat somebody out of their spot, go do it. If you can step in and be a leader, go do it. Don't think you got to sit back because you're a freshman. And then with Bobby, just a transition for her. She's played with some really good players in her last couple of years in high school, and then this year not really having as a stacked of a team that she's used to. So that's a complete different role for her as well. But they're all just really focusing on their seasons. Jayla just scored her 1,000 points last week. Maya scored hers a couple of weeks ago. So I told them just enjoy your senior season. Once you're done with it, we'll talk about some things that we want you to work on in the off season to prepare yourself for ECU. But right now, I just want them to finish out their high school career and have a great time.
And you mentioned 1,000 points. They were not the only ones.
Yeah.
The big news: Taz Thompson hit her 1,000th point. And it was her 11th straight game in double figures. What does it say about her consistency that every night you're getting at least 10 seems like and hopefully more.
That's Taz. She wants it. She wants the shot. She wants to be the one taking the shots. She's very confident with the work that she's put in to be able to be put in that position. I wish that we could free her up a little bit and allow her to get less tough shots. That's always been my goal for her, is that she doesn't have to take so many contested shots. But she's going to give you everything she has, night in and night out. And then I truly appreciate, what Taz has done for this program the last 3 years.
And Coach, a couple weeks ago, you said it would be a pull-up jumper.
Yeah.
She got it on a layup and an and one.
It was a
Yeah.
Darn it.
That was the one, She looked like she was going to pull up, and she saw the lane got to the basket.
Okay.
But anything else, Coach, you want to add? We got anything you want to say to the fans in the next couple weeks in Minji's?
Yeah, no, I'm just excited to be back at home. As Pat said, we've only played two home conference games, and we really need you guys in February to really finish this thing out strong and get some momentum going into the conference tournament. So come out, support us, be loud, and let Minji's be a home court advantage for us.
Perfect. Thanks for your time, Coach.
Thanks, Pat.